Now, everybody knows that I'm a huge fan of Sony products and media. I really am. And I'm not afraid to call out the bullshit. I'm not afraid to call out stuff that they are not doing or some fraudulent shit. But what if Sony is actually branching out to non-exclusive avenues and release their multiplayer content on actual PC? This is what I want to talk about. Welcome to the Gaming Pulpit. This is your host, JD, and we're going to talk about three possible meanings for this debacle, this multiplayer debacle for The Last of Us. The first thing I want to do is basically quote what SHAWN LAYDEN said about multiplayer or about going about going on PC. So basically, in an interview of SHAWN LAYDEN, chairman of Sony Game Studios Worldwide, said exclusive titles will be a part of the company's strategy, but some games, in particular the multiplayer titles designed to be played on personal computers, may see a broader distribution. He goes on to say, we must support the PlayStation platform. That is non-negotiable, right? That said, you will see in the future some titles coming out of my collection of studios which may need to lean into a wider install base. Now, let's talk about what Naughty Dog has said about their multiplayer element. They go ahead and they state, we wanted to address the multiplayer in The Last of Us Part 2. As we stated, the single player campaign is far away the most ambitious project Naughty Dog has ever undertaken. Likewise, as development began on the evolution of our factions mode, this is the multiplayer element from the first game, the vision of our team grew beyond any additional mode that could be included in our enormous single player campaign, which is 2 discs long, just to let you know. Wanting to support both versions, we made the difficult choice that The Last of Us Part 2 would not be included it would not include the online mode. However, you will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as a part of The Last of Us Part 2. This is a good one. When and where it will be realized is still to be determined. But rest assured, we are as big a fan as or for factions as the rest of our community and are excited to share more when it is ready. Now, there was a late tweet of one of the employees stating that hold tight, we're gonna have some more some more things about the multiplayer element. Now, the way that they handled this was kind of shitty, don't you think? It was not good the way that they handled this. Last year and the year prior, they stated that they were going to actually have multiplayer element, and they weren't going to talk about it. And then they're hiring multiplayer developers for this shit. And then all of a sudden, you say that they're not going to put it in there. It just doesn't seem kosher. It doesn't seem right. It's very, very strange that they go this route. It doesn't make any sense. And it just makes me wonder, like, why are you so secretive about it? Unless you're doing something big. And this goes into the three methods that I believe that could happen with the multiplayer element. The first thing I want to talk about is they could be possibly making a huge multiplayer element combined with co-op and charge you, right? Whether it be on PC or exclusive, you know what I mean? To the consoles, whatever it is, that's a really big paradigm switch to put it on PC. So it's a little iffy, and they're going to slow walk it. But what better game than The Last of Us Part 2? That it's beloved. So people are going to be more accepting of some sort of paradigm change. If it is The Last of Us, and I believe they had discussions. They most likely had discussions about this. The weight, what can they actually do? You know what I mean? Like how important is this? And if The Last of Us Part 2 could take it, and they could take it. Most people were actually upset about you kind of went back. You know what I mean? It's regressive you had multiplayer in your first game that was successful, and then all of a sudden for your new game there's no multiplayer. That's, at least for the rational people, this is where this is coming from. The second thing that I believe, it could be a possibility, to be honest, it could be a possibility, is that, let me just pull up my notes here. Why I always pull out the wrong shit, by the way. There we go. It could be a huge multiplayer game that doesn't have the co-op portions. It could be like Red Dead, where they have like 32 players in a big area, and those 32 players are obviously divided in half, and then divided in half. So you have two factions that are kind of like working with each other against the other people. May have zombies in it, or the clickers and stuff like that. It may not have zombies, and you guys in this open space kind of scavenge and stuff like that, and you look for things and you shoot the other people. So it could be a huge undertaking that could be totally different. It could be free to play as well and put on the PC. That way they can give people that are on PC a taste of the exclusives that are on the PlayStation 4 and 5. They also mentioned too, which is kind of strange, they go ahead and they say when and where. So that kind of is indicative of saying that it could possibly be a PS5 release, you know what I mean? Or, you know, cold PS4 cross-platform situation, and they're just not willing to kind of, you know, say that. Remember, the CEO of PlayStation, the head of PlayStation, said that this was going to be, or Mark Cerny said this is going to be a soft transition. So it could definitely be a situation of that caliber. And the third thing, which is kind of similar to the other two, is just have the shit completely free to play, and then put it on the PC, and then put that on the what do you call it? Put that on the PC, and then put it on the consoles. You know what I mean? And don't charge you. I think I said that before, actually, but very similar to that. So let's add a fourth one into this. If all of those things are not really viable to Sony, you know what I mean? And if people are going to have a problem with Sony releasing the multiplayer as a separate add-on, maybe they could bundle the DLC, introducing new players or new characters that are not Ellie and Joel. That'll bring people in there if this game is really that good. And then have the multiplayer in there as well, you know what I mean? And then they can get away with saying that it is a new experience. You know what I'm saying? And it also has the multiplayer elements in there as well. These are basically all the possibilities that I could personally see. And you know what? I don't have a problem with it. I really don't have a problem with it. There are a lot of people that have a problem with this because they're in the console war and they're in piss, you know, races and stuff like that, and they want things to be absolutely exclusive. To me, this seems to be the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? It's still exclusive content that the PC or anyone else they won't be able to get. They won't be able to touch, and it won't invalidate your purchase of your console. But it also brings revenue streams in for the worldwide studios, so they can make bigger and better games as well. I mean, it's a business. First and foremost, don't you ever, never ever forget that this shit is a business. They're not out for you. They want their money and they want a mutual benefit. Let me know in the comments what you liked or disliked about the video, and if you liked it, that would be appreciated. Peace.